Oh, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's happening, everybody? I hope everybody's doing great today. Today's a great day for me. I'm excited for today's video podcast. But before we get started, if you would, please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So if you would, a moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. All righty, well, let's get started. So how's it going, man? I hope everybody's doing good today. I know my day's going great. Today's Saturday, so one of the things that I do on every other Saturday is I go down to the Central Library downtown, San Antonio, Texas, and they have from 3 to 5 p.m., they have what is called a Creative Collective open mic night. And what it is that you can get up there and they got a mic set up with some amps and they got some guitars, a bass guitar, an electric guitar. They got some keyboards, and you can get up there and play some instruments if you want. If you don't know how to play, that's okay. If you just get up there and want to feel how it is to strum a guitar or play a keyboard, just get up there and do anything, right? And the whole point of it is for you to get out of your box and to interact a little bit, right? So if you're this person like I was, and that was bound down to this addiction, and that you stayed in this little comfort zone, if you will, and you didn't allow yourself to get out too much, you know what I mean? So I know that it's helping me out in my recovery, so I greatly recommend that. And another thing is that you can get up there and you can sing. The people get up there and sing, people get up there and say stories, people get up there and recite poetry, and that sort of thing. So since I've been going, and I've been going now for probably about a year and a half now. And the very first time I went up there was I just decided to strum the guitar a little bit, and was kind of nervous, but because you're doing this in front of strangers, people that you don't know, and it's a great way to get out of the box. You know what I mean? It's a great way to start letting them curtains down a little bit, if you will, and letting people in. You know what I mean? A lot of the times in recovery, we need that. You know what I mean? We need to be creative. We need to be collective. We need to think out the box. We need to get out of our comfort zone a little bit, because I know for me personally, I was just bound down to this addiction that that's all that revolved around my life, was just the darkness and the negativity. And I had to change my thought process, my way of living. And for me personally, I had to do a 360-degree change in my life. So I had to change people, places, and things. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, some people don't have to do that. Some people can only change the places. Some people, it just depends. Depends on what your addiction is. It depends on what your stronghold is, and it depends on where you're at in your journey, right? But for me personally, I had to do that. I had to change every part of my life, and what I gather from that, and what I like to share with people, is that you get to pick and choose the way your life goes. It's like you get this new slate, and you're going to become this new person. You know what I mean? Which is just great, because think about it. If you have a chance to start over again, to clean the slate of your life and start over, you can do and pick and choose and be whatever you want to be. You know what I mean? So I'm not the same person that I was in the year 2 years ago when I was in the world of addiction and the darkness. You know what I mean? I'm totally different now, and I just I like to say that that's through my higher power, through my through the forces, through the energies of Mother Earth. That if you put your mindset in this path of positivity and spirituality, the energy that you get back when you're giving that out, it comes back. So it just comes back richer. You know what I mean? And it's just great. It's great to do that, to be able to get out of the box, to be able to share a story, to help somebody. You know what I mean? And because for me, ultimately, to change my way and the way I was living and stuff, I had to hear a story. You know what I mean? I had to hear somebody's story that gave me that, finally opened that door for me to see, okay, dude, there is something different if you just open that door and go through it. You know what I mean? It says, God says that He never allows you to close the door if there's not one that's going to be open already. It goes something like that. You know what I mean? It's the metaphor anyway. But and I strongly believe that, because as soon as I changed, decided to start doing something different, and to start doing things on the positive note and the spiritual note, my life it just changed drastically, and it was like a domino effect. You know what I mean? Be careful what you wish for, because sometimes these things come in a rapid motion. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm grateful that it came in the order that it did, because had you caught me 2 years ago, you know, there's no way in heck that I would have been telling you that I would have been doing some podcast video on addiction and recovery and spirituality, positivity. You know what I mean? There's no way that if you would have told me that this is what I was going to be doing, you know, 2 years ago, I would have laughed. You know what I mean? It would have been a joke to me. But you know, I'm grateful that I'm given a second opportunity. I'm grateful that I was able to see the light. I'm grateful that the smoke finally cleared for me, that I was able to move in a different direction. And you know, getting up this morning and getting ready and going to that Creative Collective open mic day at the Central Library is one of the many things that I do to, you know, get my days going, to get my sobriety on this continuous journey of positivity and spirituality, to move my life forward in that way. You know what I mean? And it's one of the many things that I do, and it's one of the many things that I call it's one of the many tools that I have in my recovery arsenal. And that's what I call it. I call my recovery, I call it this thing that I got this recovery arsenal that has many things and facets to it that allow me to move forward in my journey, in my life, in my addiction, in my recovery, and that sort of thing. And going to this open mic, Creative Collective Day down at the Central Library is just one of them. You know what I mean? I got quite a few things that I do, you know, throughout the week and every month. You know what I mean? For example, I do the Creative Collective thing. I do music therapy. I do peer support groups. I do NA meetings. I do AA meetings. And I do this podcast. And one of the things that I do, one of the things about the podcast is that I get to research things and read and just kind of figure out what I'm going to talk about. Because that to me is exciting, is that I get to sit here and share a story with you guys and just share whatever I want. You know what I mean? And it's one of the things that I like to do. You know, you don't hardly ever see me doing a video with a notepad or just, you know, reading notes or whatever. To me, I think if you're going to get a video on addiction and recovery, spirituality, positivity, it's got to come from here. And it's got to come from here. It's got to come through the experiences that I've done. And those are the stories that I'm sharing, the things that I have gone through in my life, or the things that I have read, or the things that I hear in these, you know, other people's journeys and their stories is what I like to if they helped me, then I'll in turn there feed them to someone else. Hopefully they help somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's the great thing about this whole video podcast thing that I'm doing, and I like doing it because it's one of the things that allows me to, you know, get out of my comfort zone and just talk and think about whatever I want. You know what I mean? I know nobody dictates the things that come out of my mouth. These are just things that I feel in my heart and things that I've experienced and stuff. So just know that when you do tune into one of my video podcasts, it's always going to be something genuine, something spiritual, something positive, and something truthful. So so today I decided to pick this place, and this is down in part of the river walk somewhere downtown, and I liked it because it had all these murals down here. If you can see all these murals, very nice murals of some tile artwork that they did there. It's pretty cool. So I thought it was nice. So I figured I'd choose this place today and do the video podcast. So, you know, kind of share my story of how my Saturday was going with, you know, getting out of the box and doing something that you're not comfortable doing, but that is still a positive. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing something positive, man, I tell you what, doing positive things it's like this raging river. You know what I mean? The more you start paddling, and the more you get into it, that the faster you go, the more that comes to you. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just great. And yeah, so that's one of the many things that I do. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. And hopefully, you know, if you're in the city of San Antonio, if you're planning to visit San Antonio, just check it out one day. You know what I mean? Every other Saturday of the month, they have the Creative Collective over in Mike at the Central Library downtown San Antonio. It's a great place to be. And it was great. I mean, I got to play some guitar today, even sang a little bit, and heard other people singing and playing guitar. It was beautiful. And yeah, so then I decided to come out here and do the podcast. So, you know, here we are. And it's just this is what I'm talking about. It's just that when you start doing things, you're doing other things that are keeping you out of that addiction, that stronghold, the darkness, and that sort of thing. And I just find it that living this way is a whole lot better than living in the negative realm of the darkness of addiction. And yeah, so you know, I like coming out here and just enjoying the scenery. You know, it's great to come and just actually enjoy a city that has a lot to offer. Number one, because I've been in San Antonio for a long time, and you know, most of my life, and you know, I'm just now getting out and starting to see all these beautiful things that we have here in the city. You know, it's great. And you know, I've been going to museums, I've been going to parks, and just looking at the different artwork that's downtown, and just they got a bunch of art galleries, and just a bunch of festivities, if you will. And it's just great to be out here, and to be out here, number one, to be out here clean and sober, and just on this positive wave of energy that is just amazing. And you know, I read this story that was talking about this guy's on this plane, and this is a true story, by the way. He notices that he's flying from London to Argentina, and as he's on this long flight, he notices that the stewardess are being very attentive to the guest, and every time that they come by and ask you if you want some water, you need some peanuts, whatever, right? That they got this smile, and he says he noticed that these people just started smiling, and then after a while, he goes, after about 2-3 hours into the flight, the same stewardess is smiling to the same passenger, and it just starts looking fake. He says it started looking fake to me. It's like, what is it? You know, why? Now it doesn't seem like a genuine smile. And he said when he got to Argentina that he started getting greeted over there. People were hugging him, kissing him, you know, on both cheeks and that sort of thing. And he asked his interpreters, he goes, why is everybody being so touchy-feely and that sort of thing? And he's like, well, this is how we greet people in this country. And he was like, okay, you know, he goes, well, can you let them know that I don't do that hard, that, you know, I'm kind of feeling comfortable. He goes, so that people, instead of doing that, they were bearing gifts to the guy, right? And he said that during the time that he was bearing the gifts, that there were so many people bearing gifts that a lot of people held his hand and bearing the gift, and he was smiling and stuff like that. But after a while, you know, 2-3 hours into the greet, you know, he seems that he's just smiling, like faking the smile. He said, he goes, I took there were some pictures taken, and when I got back to my country or whatever, I started looking at them pictures, and I was like, wow, I look like I'm fake smiling. And then he remembered the stewardess, and he was like, wow, I understand now why the way they smiled, because they were going through the motions of life. And sometimes you go through these motions of life that your mind and your your brain and your body mechanics, they just are so used to doing this repetitious thing. And just like me, when I was in the darkness, when I was in drug addiction, I was always had this routine that I did. You know what I mean? And it was like, it seemed so fake but normal at the same time that, you know, you can change that. You know what I mean? Because I used to do things like that, and now I don't. I got different rituals that I do on the daily basis. It has me. It has my mind broadening. It has my thought processes on this positive note that I'm so much aware of people around me. I'm so much aware of the environment around me. I'm so much aware of what I'm doing and how I'm living and how I come across to somebody, or, you know, I got this whole passion of wanting to help and seeing things for the beauty, you know what I mean? And I would have never been able to do that when I was in the darkness and the addiction, you know what I mean? And I'm just grateful that I get this second chance at life, that I'm able to be somebody else. I'm able to be somebody else for the positive. I'm able to be somebody else that's this positive and spiritual person for myself, number one, for my higher power, for my family, and for anybody that comes across into my path, that they're not going to get this energy of darkness and negativity, that they're going to be able to radiate and feel this energy that I bring. And one of this part of the story that he said is that, you know, if you could just smile at somebody and see the reaction in their face, that you're genuinely acknowledging them, you see their eyes open up, you see them light up, you see their, you know, their posture kind of straightens out and they smile back at you. And you know that your energy radiated to them in a good sense, that they felt that. You know what I mean? How beautiful is that? You know what I mean? Because I know that when I was in the addiction, man, when I would come across people, it wasn't good. You know what I mean? It was dark. It was always, you know, looking on this defensive and looking to, you know, just mad dog people or whatever. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. You were always on this. You had to be in this defensive, you know, I got to be tough kind of appearance. And I don't have to do that today. You know what I mean? Today, I don't have to do that. Today, I can go anywhere, and I can guarantee you somebody's going to feel that positive and just karmic energy of spirituality and positivity coming from me, because I've changed a whole 360 degrees, and I don't do any negative, you know, things in my life today. Everything I do, I try to do positive and spiritual. And I just wanted to, you know, kind of share with you guys, you know, how I've changed and some of the things that I do to get out of the box and to not stay in that just comfort zone of darkness. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we're trapped. A lot of times people get trapped down there in that little comfort zone. They don't want to get out of the walls. You know, they want to go to the other side and see what's there. But I can guarantee you, man, if you do just a little bit every single day of something positive, something spiritual, that your life will start transforming. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more you'll want to do it. It's just a great way to live. And I just wanted to share that with you guys today, and kind of wanted to share this background. And I'm just, you know, wanted to say hi, and hopefully that everybody's day is going great, man, because I know mine is going awesome. And I guess at this time, if you would please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Just know that when you do subscribe to my channel and share my channel, you'll be helping out another veteran, another homeless person, another person dealing with PTSDs, another person dealing with childhood traumatic experiences, another person dealing with anger, depression, sadness, suicidal thoughts, because I, my friends, have dealt with all of those things at one point in time in my life. And it's just a blessing to share a message to the addict who still suffers. And for those of you who still are in a struggle that keeps you bound down, just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's a different way to live, and it's great. All you got to do is a little bit at a time. But I guess until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.